At 9, right here on Fox 14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, there's a new service at the Joplin Public Library, and it's one that you might not expect.
Also, KOAM's Amber Jenkins shares how Vernon County is dealing with the aftermath of last weekend's flooding.
And while we're dealing with slightly improved flooding conditions for some of us, more showers and thunderstorms on the way. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warren. It's just after 7 o'clock now on this Wednesday morning. And boy, we had more severe weather last night. We did have a brief tornado confirmed in Chautauqua County, but again, thankfully nothing serious coming from that.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially after this past weekend with multiple tornado reports with damage across parts of southeastern Kansas. And we're not done with this yet.
Glad that we had that break on Monday, but whew.
Yeah,
we had
one day,
yes.
But boy, we've still got more rain on the way. And a good place to go when it's raining is indoors, say at the local library.
Perhaps so. Matter in fact, the Joplin Public Library is offering a non-conventional service, conversions of VHS, vinyl, cassettes, and DVDs to digital. Photos, negatives, and CDs can also be converted in the makerspace. It's an opportunity to relive memories and save them for future generations. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more.
This is all I have of my boys growing up. I really treasure the tapes, watching them dance around when they were little and all that, and it made me sad that I can't even watch them anymore.
Tara Smith found in her workplace, the Joplin Public Library, a way to relive her kids' childhood memories.
They're getting old. I don't have a VCR anymore, so I thought I need to convert them. This has been great that I can convert all of these memories of my kids.
Joplin Library Makers Space offers Joplin residents and visitors the opportunity to travel back in time.
Whoa.
I've had patrons that come in and it's old family videos of someone they've lost, a pet that they had when they were 5, you know, those are always fun. School recital that you haven't thought about in years that you kind of wish you hadn't saved.
The service also offers a way to reconnect with pictures and videos differently.
Something that's really great to do, to be able to see it even bigger than just on your little camera or your phone.
And to offer future generations like Smith's grandkids the chance to see life back in the day.
They're getting a kick out of, yes, this is your dad when he was your age, and so I think they will really enjoy being able to see them easier now.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Joplin Library Makerspace also has equipment for cutting or engraving a variety of materials and a 3D printer.
And Joplin residents are not the only ones who can benefit from it. To make appointments for conversions and other services, you can contact the Joplin Public Library. And for more information, you can check out our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. So certainly it's important to digitize these things because tapes, especially things like that, they're not going to last forever. They're going to start to wear out, and it's going to get harder and harder to find a VCR.
Yes, and it's great that the library is offering that, a unique resource indeed.
Absolutely. Well, we've got more showers and thunderstorms on the way. Now, we've talked about with the drought how much we've needed rain. This is not how we needed the rain, though. No. We did not need the flooding because that does not help the situation at all. Unfortunately, that's what we've got. Let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker and see what we got going on right now. Right now, in our immediate area, there's really not much. The last of the showers from last night's activity now around the Branson area. These showers and thunderstorms out to our west are part of a boundary, and they're not really moving out there. In fact, if we take a look and put this into motion, you can see they're trying to push off to the east, but they're not really moving a lot. The ones by Ponca City kind of give you the best example as to what's happening. They're just kind of recycling over the same areas, but we do have these thunderstorms, and they could make it into the western parts of our viewing area later this morning, but they've been strong. There's been some small hail with a couple of them, but nothing too crazy, thankfully, with that activity this morning. flooding. We still do have the river, stream, creek flood warnings out there. Some good news is the aerial flood warnings have been canceled. The flood watches have been canceled for our area, so we're seeing at least some improvement, but some rivers, creeks, streams out there not seeing significant improvement as of yet. 60 in Joplin, 59 in Pittsburgh. Not a bad start to the day temperature-wise. We're in the upper 50s and low 60s across the area. Now, depending on that activity out west, we could see some isolated to widely scattered at best showers and storms as we go through the day. I think most of us are going to stay dry, and because of that, some of us may get a little more sunshine than others. So we're looking at highs upper 70s, maybe some low to mid 80s out there. Now later this evening, after about 9 o'clock, that's where we're going to see more showers and thunderstorms roll in. That's when we have another risk for strong, potentially severe storms as well. We're looking at all of that in your full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a state investigation clears a Joplin police officer of wrongdoing in a shooting. The Missouri Highway Patrol was called in to investigate a February 9th shooting on West 7th Street. In that shooting, the officer fired one shot that hit a suspect's hand and wrist area. The suspect was then treated for non-life-threatening injuries. An internal investigation conducted by JPD determined the officer acted appropriately. They then called in the MSHP to process the crime scene and investigate as an outside agency. Based on their report, the Jasper County Prosecutor's Office determined the charges are not warranted against the officer in the case. As of 9 yesterday morning, the Verdigris River at Coffeyville was cresting at about 19 feet, which is classified as a minor flood stage. Some flooding has occurred in low-lying areas around the river. It's anticipated that the river level will drop fairly rapidly over the next several hours. You may remember just yesterday, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment had issued a stream advisory for parts of the Verdigris River because of an oil well spill. The race for councilperson in Ward 1 of Carterville, Missouri is over. Residents yesterday voted in a special election to determine the winner after the race ended in a tie with 14 votes going to both Devin Keeling and Darlene Taylor. 5 more residents cast their ballots yesterday, with Keeling winning the position by a count of 18 to 15. Some Vernon County, Missouri residents say the floodwater is receding slowly. Vernon County is one of the areas hit hard by the heavy weekend rains. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has the latest on the aftermath.
Vernon County, Missouri received between 10 and 15 inches of rain, causing flooding at several creeks and 3 rivers running through the county. The Road and Bridge Department has been on alert since last Thursday. County officials say they are dealing with moderate damage to gravel roads, fallen trees, and farmland. Some county roads remain underwater and impassable. Nearby residents say this is normal during the springtime.
I used to live back down the road about 3 miles, and whenever the water would get up, it'd surround our whole house years ago, back when I was a kid.
Larry noticed the water receding and hopes it will be back to normal levels in a couple of days. He also noticed an uptick in traffic to check out the flood zone.
I think there's about 50 cars a day come out here and stop and look at it.
Reporting in Vernon County, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
You can read the full written statement from Vernon County officials about the flood impact and specific areas of concern on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up next, Chris Warner, or a little later on rather, Chris Warner will bring us another look at the forecast. And later, a Portland cancer patient has a stroke of luck when he lands the winning lottery ticket. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Welcome to Miss Daisy's, where style core and give your home the makeover it deserves.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:11 now on this Wednesday morning, and we are sandwiched between some showers and thunderstorms. Last night's activity exiting the area around the Branson area now, and then we've got these scattered showers and thunderstorms off to our west. And latest data suggests they may make it as far as, say, Yates Center, maybe as far as Chanute, Coffeyville. They've been a bit on the strong side here and there with some small hail, but nothing too crazy. You can see where they just aren't moving that much. And now the ones by Ponca City beginning to die out, and some thunderstorms north of Wichita that are going to try and push off to the northeast along I-35 out there. So we'll keep an eye on those showers and storms. We still have river, creek, stream flood warnings out there, but again, some good news. Aerial flood warnings have been canceled. Flood watches have been canceled. So we're starting to see some improvements across the area. As we head into this evening and overnight, we do have another round of potential severe weather. We have a low-end tornado risk at this point, just barely clipping our western counties, which is good news after what we've seen the last couple of days. However, low to elevated hail and wind risk, most of this into southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma out there. So we'll keep an eye on these storms as we head late night tonight. As we head into our Thursday, we have another low end risk for some strong to low grade severe thunderstorms, mainly along and north of I-44. Friday, very small sliver of that low risk in parts of Greenwood County out there. The rest of us just thunderstorms. This is really for Friday night, where we're expecting to see additional showers and thunderstorms. So for today, based on those storms out there, an isolated shower storm will be possible through today. I think most of us are going to remain dry. Depending on if we see those storms or not, we're either going to be partly to mostly cloudy. Some of us may see a little more sunshine than others, allowing you to get a little warmer than your neighbors. By late this evening, though, showers and thunderstorms in our northern counties. There's a higher threat for severe weather once again out to our west, and almost in a repeat of yesterday into last night. Another round of thunderstorms. Here we are at midnight from that complex out west, moving into southeast Kansas. This is where our severe threat comes from as we head into the overnight hours tonight. By 3 a.m., it's continuing to surge across southeastern Kansas, and it's got a decent bowing shape to it, so we'll watch for that possibility of strong wind gusts out there. Showers and thunderstorms ongoing at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and then throughout our Thursday, we'll have pauses in activity here and there, so that's why it's scattered thunderstorms. But scattered thunderstorms throughout the day on our Thursday, and most of us getting additional rainfall out there. And again, some of these storms could be strong to low-grade severe, and it won't be until about 9-10 o'clock that the last of the thunderstorm activity rolls out of here, and then we're left with just a few showers. Now, our Friday looking pretty good for the majority of the day. Friday's almost a repeat of Tuesday, where we will have pretty decent day most of the day, and then more thunderstorms by Friday night. Upper 80s, low 70s today, 70s for us on Thursday, 70s again on Friday. More thunderstorms through the weekend and into the beginning of next week. We might see a pause in activity by Wednesday, and we'll see more thunderstorm chances as we head to the end of next week. That's a check of your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
Feels good to be. No interest for 84 months. Only at Ashley.
A chiropractor in Oklahoma has a special patient with a lot of neck to adjust. Not only does Dr. Jerron Whitley work on humans, he treats animals too. That's why he was called in to relieve a jaw problem on Jerry the giraffe, who was having an issue with chewing. As Jeannie Moose reports, it looks like that house call was a success.
Now lift your head. If you think adjusting a giraffe's neck would be a pain in the neck, listen for the crack. Here's how this Oklahoma chiropractor describes it.
Being able to work on a giraffe is a chiropractor's dream. I mean, it's the largest neck in the world.
Dr. Jerron Whitley was called in because Jerry the giraffe, owned by a private rancher, had a chewing issue.
His jaw was not moving to the left.
So Dr. Whitley stuck his neck out trying to adjust Jerry's. What does it feel like to adjust a giraffe?
Their hair is pokey and their tongues are really slimy. Oh, it's like a short-haired cactus.
Along with his human patients, Dr. Whitley specializes in animals, mainly dogs.
I heard that.
But also chickens. And after Dr. Whitley adjusted this injured bat, he says it was once again able to climb and hang upside down. He's even adjusted sedated lions. Like this one in South Africa. Skeptics say chiropractic has no basis in science, that there's no proof it works on humans or animals. But Jerry's owner told the Washington Post the giraffe's chewing improved after his adjustment.
Oh, dude.
And look at that reaction. One commenter called it the look of bliss.
And they're a lot more appreciative, I think, than some of my human patients. He absolutely loved it. I mean, he was rubbing all over me, but he was licking all over me.
We do not recommend this much necking when showing appreciation to your chiropractor. Ginny Mose, CNN, New York.
It's great to see Jerry the giraffe standing up straight after his adjustment. We'll be back with more news when we return.
In the last 6 months, there have been...
Location, 24 Elite Gym. Live your best life.
Well, unfortunately, most of us, just about all of us, did not win the $1 billion Powerball jackpot.
No.
That's why we're still here.
Of course.
But somebody was introduced at an Oregon Lottery press conference Monday afternoon. One of the 3 people who won the $1.3 billion Powerball after buying a ticket at a Portland Plaid pantry. That was Charlie Safin.
Charlie is a Laos-born immigrant who has been fighting cancer for the past 8 years. Ariel Salk has more about his journey to becoming a billionaire.
Charlie was born in Laos and currently lives in Portland with his wife. He says they plan on spending the money on their dream home and to find a doctor in his battle against cancer.
I found out I won, and then I've been thinking, oh, I'm happy for my family. They will have a good life.
Holding a giant check, Charlie Safin waves while grinning ear to ear after winning the $1.3 billion Powerball.
We won the lottery. We won the jackpot.
Charlie isn't the only winner. He's splitting the prize with his wife, Du Pen, and their friend, Liza Chow, who lives in Milwaukee, neither wanting to be on camera. He recalls calling Chow with the big news.
Where you going? What are you doing now? She said, I'm driving on the way to work. And I told her, you don't have to go work now.
Charlie's a ray of light, even as he speaks about his 8-year battle with cancer.
I'm in the middle of the battling cancer, so I've been thinking, how am I going to have time to spend all of this money?
He was born in Laos, moving to Thailand when he was 10, before finally settling down in Portland 30 years ago.
I love Oregon. I've been here 30 years, so I love Oregon. I'm not going to move out. I stay Oregon here.
Proudly wearing a sash representing his people, the Lu Men, he giggles, sharing how he told his family members.
I told my mom, we're rich. She said, rich? How rich? I said, really rich.
The two families are splitting the winnings in half, which after taxes is a little over $400 million, which has already been delivered and is burning a hole in their pockets.
It's certainly impressive. You know, we're talking.
Yes.
One of the few times it seems, at least over the years, that the person who won one of these jackpots was truly deserving, truly needed that money.
Yeah, so it'll be great that he can finally get the medical care that he needs.
Absolutely, and have a few bucks left over to spend.
Just
I mean, with medical expenses these days, I mean that $1 billion is going to go fast across the area.
There you go. Well, coming up, anti-war protests are spreading across college campuses around the country. Fox News' Ted Lindner shares the impact of that the protest is having on Columbia University.
And we've got cloudy skies across the area, showers and a couple of thunderstorms trying to work their way in. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Here on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
And welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:28. I'm Elise Snowy. Crawford County residents yesterday voiced their support for a plan to expand Highway 69 as it currently is, rather than creating a bypass. The SAK Highway 69 Strategic Alliance hosted a meeting to bring community members together with Pittsburgh and Crawford County officials to discuss expansion plans. One option is to expand the current bypass, which many of the residents in attendance were in favor of. Another is a plan to create a new bypass west of the current one in Crawford County. Some residents are worried that would hurt local businesses.
Our determination now is not so much to be against the western bypass, but to be for upgrading and improving the existing bypass around Pittsburgh. We know that's a lot more economical way to go.
KDOT is currently looking at economic surveys to see how much of an impact each plan would have. Well, it appears Kansas will not be banning gender-affirming care for minors. The State House Monday night failed to override Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto of the bill. The Republican-controlled Senate had enough votes to enact the ban, but the House was 2 votes shy. The measure would have stopped hormone therapies, puberty blockers, and surgeries for trans and non-binary youth in Kansas. Governor Kelly called the failed override a win for parental rights and Kansas families. Authorities say a mountain lion was spotted Monday near Galesburg Middle School in Neosho County, Kansas. The city says the mountain lion was startled, then fled south. Officials advise people to use caution during outdoor activities in the area. And to report a sighting, you can contact the Neosho County Sheriff's Department or the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. The Ottawa County Bar Association wants to let Oklahomans know about Law Day 2024. Today from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., hundreds of Oklahoma lawyers will donate their time to provide free legal advice by phone or email. For contact information and details, including details on other states in our area, go to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. The Oklahoma Bar Association has been celebrating Law Day for more than 60 years. The Pitt State Electrical Technology Program held a signing day. Similar to an athletic signing day, the program recognized 18 students who will not only graduate in May, but have been recruited for full-time employment. One instructor says he hopes to give students the proper foundation for what may be the career.
We focus on our second-year students that are going to work. We want to highlight the companies that they're going to work for and the positions that they are accepting. And this is just a really unique way to celebrate that.
We start out at the same level and we build just like a house. We dig out for the foundation, pour the foundation, and start laying the walls. And today represents the roof being on the house and ready to turn the key and go in.
Industry representatives were in attendance to take part in the celebration. Well, dozens of vendors set up booths at the Together Crawford County Community Job and Resource Fair yesterday in Pittsburgh. The fair brings together local resources and employers. Organizers say the goal is to provide a community service.
It's to be involved in the community, to bring the community together, to share the resources. Often you don't know about resources until after an incident you've gone through. So really trying to be at the forefront of helping people in the community.
And Together Crawford County Community Job and Resource Fair took place at the Pittsburgh Memorial Auditorium. The log jam on the Neosho River in Ottawa County, Oklahoma continues to grow near Twin Bridges State Park. It's estimated to be the size of 2 football fields right now, with more debris expected to join in from upstream. We spoke with the mayor of Miami, Bless Parker, who says there are currently no plans to remove the jam.
Now, what we're hearing is it's a lot of finger pointing. GRDA is not saying much, which is par for the course for them because they don't want to take responsibility for any of their actions. Again, this is no different than before. So now they're blaming ODOT. ODOT's blaming the Corps. Corps' blaming GRDA. It's just a big finger pointing thing. So nobody's taking accountability. Nobody's taking any responsibility here. But again, the citizens are the ones that are going to pay the price.
There are also concerns about a BNSF railroad about half-mile downstream from the log jam.
And we're continuing to keep an eye on scattered showers and thunderstorms out to our west right now. They're still trying to move east. They're starting to move a little bit, so looking to get into parts of Elk and Chautauqua counties here before too much longer if they hold together. But as we put this in motion, you can see first they spent a lot of time not going anywhere, but now we've got a line that's kind of developed and it's starting to try and push eastward. These have not been severe. Some of them were producing some small hail earlier, but the biggest thing is there's just rain and some lightning out there. So we'll continue to monitor these as they continue to shift off to the east and see if they hold together or if they die out. There's been some disagreement in exactly what's going to happen with them next, so we'll still monitor them. However, our bigger concerns, one, still the flooding. We still have active river, stream, and creek flood warnings in parts of the area. Again, the good news at least is the flood watches have been canceled and the aerial flood warnings have been canceled, which means we are seeing some improvement out there. We are sitting at 60 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh, cloudy skies out there. Temperatures around the region hanging out in the upper 50s, most of us into the low 60s across the area. So temperature-wise, it's not a bad start to the day. So again, depending on what that line does or does not do, we could see some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. I think most of us will remain dry, and depending on how much sunshine you can get out there, we're looking at highs today, upper 70s, low 80s. And then late tonight, more widespread thunderstorms roll in, as does an attendant strong to severe thunderstorm risk. We'll talk about all that in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, dozens of arrests overnight after hundreds of police descended on Columbia University. Officers making their way into a barricaded campus building that protesters were occupying for hours. University officials asking police for help in removing the demonstrators who were calling for an end to the Israel-Hamas war and for their school to cut ties with companies supporting Israel. Fox News' Ted Lindner is in the Big Apple with the latest.
Hundreds of New York City police officers in riot gear swarming the campus of Columbia University Tuesday night, arresting protesters calling for an end to the Israel-Hamas war.
That's crazy. It's just crazy.
Those taken into custody had previously broken into and were occupying a building called Hamilton Hall. A large police vehicle armed with a ladder made its way through the crowds. Officers with zip ties were then able to enter Hamilton Hall through a second-story window. Columbia's president writing to the NYPD, quote, "We believe that while the group who broke into the building includes students, it is led by individuals who are not affiliated with the university. The individuals who have occupied Hamilton Hall have vandalized university property and are trespassing. But demonstrators calling for the university to divest from companies supporting Israel say any damage is nothing compared to the more than 34,000 Palestinians who've been killed by Israeli airstrikes in Gaza."
What Israel's doing and what the United States is doing is so much more than just worth broken glass. We'll always be able to repair that glass.
The escalating protests come after Columbia students had set up encampments on the university lawn.
This must end now.
Columbia's president is asking the NYPD to keep a presence on campus now through at least May 17th to make sure more encampments don't pop up. In New York, I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Officials say Columbia's Hamilton Hall is now cleared of protesters. Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. There's a new scam targeting students who are about to graduate with fake job opportunities. That story and more in Consumer Watch.
Ordinary is the opposite.
Helping dogs dog healthy.
In Consumer Watch this morning, a new kind of job scam is targeting recent college graduates. A Wall Street Journal report says fake recruiters are using information they find online to claim an educator has recommended a student for a job opening. The report says the scammers gain access into a professor's email or create a similar one to trick soon-to-be graduates into applying. The FTC issued a warning earlier this month telling students to be cautious of texts or emails that ask them to download any app to conduct a job interview. All new U.S. cars will be required to have automatic emergency braking systems by 2029. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration unveiled finalized new regulations on Monday. The new rules state that all new U.S. cars and trucks must be sold with automatic emergency braking. While AEB is already very common in new vehicles sold in the U.S., the new regulations will save hundreds of lives per year, according to NHTSA. A new National Retail Federation report predicts consumers will spend a near record $33.5 billion on Mother's Day. The NRF says the figure would be the second highest in the history of its survey. It estimates 84% of U.S. adults plan to celebrate the holiday, spending an average of about $254 per person on gifts. The NRF says jewelry and flowers are the top gifts consumers plan to purchase. Well, today, the Federal Reserve is meeting on interest rates, and experts believe the central bank will leave its benchmark rate at a 23-year high. The Fed's hikes are designed to bring inflation down, but the strategy is also having a major impact on the housing market.
Joanne Dinu is currently a renter and wants to become a homeowner in Southern California. But during her 3-month search for a new house, she's only found frustration.
There's not much out there. There's very low inventory on the houses that we're looking at.
Existing home sales are down largely because of mortgage rates, which are now over 7%, double from 2 years ago. And would-be sellers aren't willing to part with their current low rate.
Why sell and pay higher interest on a new home? So people are sitting in their homes.
The Federal Housing Finance Agency calls it the lock-in effect and calculates it led to a 57% drop in sales late last year. The lack of supply is leading to higher prices in many areas.
So this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhome, multi-level with a loft, and sold for just under $500,000.
What was it listed for?
$450,000.
So you had multiple offers.
We had multiple offers.
Realtor Marianne Bean says many people are buying homes now with the hopes of refinancing later.
I think overall buyers and sellers are just tired of waiting. They're tired of waiting for the most opportune moment to do a transaction.
Just a regular little neighborhood.
But mortgage lender Jody Canfield says it's not clear when rates will come down, so it's important buyers are realistic.
It may not be your dream home, but let's get into the house that makes sense for your monthly budget.
I don't know when the right time is to buy anymore.
Dinu plans to be patient, but wants to buy before August. That's when the rent on her current place goes up $300 a month.
And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Tonight at 6, right here on Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:45 on this Wednesday morning. We've got this line of showers and thunderstorms off to the west, some of that rain trying to enter into Elk and Chautauqua counties. We're going to continue to keep an eye on those showers and storms out there. Right now, we're not expecting them to intensify or be severe, but they will have an impact on shower and thunderstorm chances, of course, across the area as we go through the morning. The question remains if they're going to dissipate or not. And you see where they started to die out, and then they started to join this line that had formed off to the north, and they're not intensifying to severe status by any means, but they're coming back together. So we'll see what happens with those. We do still have river, stream, creek flood warnings out there across parts of the area, but as we've mentioned before, the good news is the aerial flood warnings and the flood watches have been canceled, which does mean we've seen some improvement across the area just in time for additional rainfall. We do have a severe threat as we head into this evening and overnight. There's a low-end tornado risk that's just barely clipping parts of our western counties. The greater concern here is the low to elevated hail and wind risks out there that are primarily into southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. So we'll keep an eye on those storms as they roll through the area overnight tonight. But tonight, not the only threat we have. Tomorrow, we have a low-end risk for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms across a bigger portion of the area along and north of I-44. We have that low-end risk just barely clipping us for Friday. This will be for Friday night where we're going to see additional shower and thunderstorm chances. As for today, again, a lot of question on that line out to the west if it's going to fizzle out or not. Either way, we're going to have partly to mostly cloudy skies, south winds gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour out there. Depending on how much sunshine you see, of course, that'll make a determination as to how warm you get, but we're looking at highs today, upper 70s, low 80s. By about 7, 8 o'clock in our far northern counties, we start to see a few showers and thunderstorms. Now, today is very similar to yesterday, where the majority of the day will be good, and we'll have thunderstorm chances later this evening. Friday is going to be an almost carbon copy of that. In terms of that carbon copy from Tuesday, though, we have a severe threat out to our northwest, and that will result in thunderstorms that come from that complex rolling into the area around midnight. This is where between, say, midnight and 6 a.m., our better opportunity for some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms will be. And take a look at this complex that the future track is depicting here at 3 a.m. as it rolls through the area. We'll have additional lingering thunderstorms through the morning. We'll have a bit of a pause by mid-morning, and by about 10, 11 o'clock, more showers and thunderstorms begin to develop, and that's when we'll have that opportunity again for some strong, potentially severe thunderstorms as we go through our Thursday. And we'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing through the day. Again, there will be pauses, but we'll have those complexes rolling through with some strong storms possible, and then we'll start to clear out late tomorrow into early Friday morning. Friday, most of Friday looks pretty good, and then we have more thunderstorms coming in Friday night. So again, upper 70s, low 80s, depending on how much sunshine you see. Upper 70s for our Thursday, mid 70s on Friday, and we have more thunderstorms from Friday night through at least next Tuesday. Possibly a pause in activity Wednesday, more shower and thunderstorm chances by next Thursday and Friday. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Looking for high quality and low prices?
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
Well, last weekend, storms left a path of destruction across the Midwest. But amid all the chaos are many stories of survival.
One of those stories is a Nebraska dog who is recovering well after being sent flying from his home in what is being called a miraculous tale.
Bullies and Beyond Rescue says 1-year-old Rottweiler Zeus was home, upstairs in his kennel when the tornado hit. His family's home was flattened. But where was Zeus? The rescue says his kennel was found 4 blocks away from his house. Somehow, the door broke open and Zeus was found 2 blocks away, lying on a mattress. Stacy with Bullies and Beyond says he sustained minor injuries.
He lost some of the nails on his paw. He's a little stiff in this hind leg, and he had some scratches on his nose. But I mean, from what he went through, he's pretty darn lucky.
I don't think I would be in such good spirits had I experienced the same type of trauma. So it's pretty miraculous, if you will. What do you think, Zeusy? You agree?
He was found Friday night by the Nebraska Humane Society, where the animal control officer carried the 126-pound dog to safety. I'm told right now the family isn't talking to reporters and wants to focus on rebuilding their home. For now, Zeus is at the vet recovering.
Certainly incredible, and great to see that he's in such high spirits now after that tragic event that happened on Saturday last week.
Yeah, we've got a number of stories coming out of all that severe weather we've had over the past several days. Quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We've got a line of showers and thunderstorms trying to work into our far western counties, and this could give us an opportunity for an isolated shower or storm through the day. I think most of us are going to remain dry as we head through the day. We're going to be warm, upper 70s, low 80s. Winds out of the south gusting upwards of 20. More thunderstorms on the way as we head into the evening, late evening hours and overnight tonight. Latest on your forecast, news you need to know right after this.
Reynolds, a 4-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The SEK Highway 69 Strategic Alliance hosted a meeting to discuss plans for the bypass on Highway 69. One option is to expand the current bypass, which many of the residents in attendance were in favor of. Another is a plan to create a new bypass west of the current one in Crawford County. KDOT is currently looking at economic surveys to see how much of an impact each plan would have. The race for councilperson in Ward 1 of Carterville, Missouri is over. Residents yesterday voted in a special election to determine the winner after the race ended in a tie with 14 votes going to both Devin Keeling and Darlene Taylor. 5 more residents cast their ballots yesterday, with the Keeling winning the position by a count of 18 to 15. Kansas will not be banning gender-affirming care for minors. The State House Monday night failed to override Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto of the bill. The measure would have stopped hormone therapies, puberty blockers, and surgeries for trans and non-binary youth in Kansas. Governor Kelly called the field override a win for parental rights and Kansas families.
We'll have an opportunity for an isolated shower or thunderstorm through the day. Most of us will stay dry, I think, and we're going to have south winds gusting upwards of 20 and highs upper 70s, low 80s, depending on how much sunshine you see today. Thunderstorm chances will increase overnight tonight, starting in the the late evening hours in our northern counties and increasing across the area. And some of those could be strong, possibly severe. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Low 60s. We'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day on Thursday. Upper 70s, some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms will be possible. Most of Friday looks all right, and then more thunderstorm chances by Friday night. Those continue through next Tuesday. We're looking at maybe a pause on Wednesday with more scattered showers and thunderstorms by the end of next week. So a lot of rain on the horizon.
A lot of rain indeed. All right, thanks, Chris. Corgis wearing Star Wars outfits paraded about last Sunday. The parade was to mark the anniversary of a Moscow exhibition dedicated to the iconic movies.
The parade celebrated 1 year since the exhibition called In a Galaxy Far, Far Away was open to the public.
Look at them. Look how cute they are. Oh my goodness.
I'm sure they had a lot of fun.
I'm sure they did
well.
as well.
In a galaxy not so far away.
Not so far away.
Not so
indeed.
far away. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.